So basically, we've almost covered up everything for API testing. Yeah, sure we have. So we performed the test in the last class. So we performed some tests in the last class. So today I said we'll be going through how to add test scripts to our test, and then also I'll also retake us how to run on Postman runner as Postman runner, and also we'll learn how to run on command line too as well. Then I think Rimsha mentioned asked a question in the last class. How do we do performance testing on API? So I will teach us that too as well. I'll teach us that too as well today. So, today we should finish up on API and pick up Cypress.
I have a question.
Okay.
When will we move into the towards the live projects?
When do we move what?
Live projects.
Live projects. After the program, we'll start testing you on live projects if you'll be working with us.
Okay. Okay.
So,
In in the session, we will not move in the towards the live projects. Only we practice.
okay, okay, I can test a live project with us, depending on time. Yesterday I mentioned, I think first week of December we should be running up our program by the first week of December, and I'm sure by then we should have covered all the all the syllabus. So let me go back to the roadmap.
Okay. Thank you.
On the roadmap, um, so on the roadmap, anything we haven't covered, you can all let me know. So on the roadmap, I created a project board which we are familiar with, that is test management project 2. Then we onboard you all. We told you about how the internship program is going to run. And also, okay, we all have access to the internet, you guys on site. So then we all met each other, which is done. It's done. Then we have access to QA Google Drive. Those are the um, test case link and some links I shared with us. Then I also have access to videos of on testing too as well, which are the courses link I shared with us. And you all have access to the training slides, and also access to articles on QA. So I share link on articles on QA. Then exploratory test on all projects in progress. So we all understand what LCLC means. So we all understand LCLC, and we are all familiar with tracking project tracking tools, example Trello. Okay, we haven't used UR, and we're all familiar with Basecamp, even though we don't use it. Then we all know how to write pub reports. Am I correct? So we have better knowledge of what agile methodology means. You don't assume you know all this thing. You can go back to your slide and read all over again. I'm sure if I ask question now, you answer. If you fail this question, I'm going to ask you. This is the end of your internship program. I'll just tell you to pack your laptop and your bag and just go. So, as said, always go back to your training slide, read about all this thing all over again, and practice it. If you don't practice, if you don't read, you assume you know it, and you will be shocked at yourself when you're being asked question and you're unable to answer. So this is key agile methodology. As a QA, you must know what is agile and the methodology and Scrum methodology too as well. Okay, let me put this in progress. I will take us on Scrum methodology again. And understanding the role of QA in project development. Do you understand your role in project development? Yeah? What are you supposed to do?
I have no access of this sheet.
Who is that? Somebody is saying something now.
My name's Saud.
Okay, so what are you gonna say?
I have no access of this sheet that you are open.
You have lectures of what? Okay, let me continue. Understanding your role as a QA in project development. So I believe you all understand our role. Then test case writing. You all you all are all familiar with test case and how to write test case and how to develop your test case. So that is done. Please, if by chance you don't understand or any of these items I've picked, please you are free to ask questions. Test case execution, I believe we've covered that. Software testing as a career path. Software testing as a career path. We've all read article about that. Then end of the month appraisal and feedback. We all get our appraisal and feedback. Then so that was the end of manual testing. Then the second month which you started, so you are yet to perform to train on performance and load testing with JMeter. Then we are here to perform tasks and load testing. So we assume okay API in progress, which will be rounding up today. Okay, we'll be rounding up. Okay, yeah, today we should round up today. Then also I'll be giving us another task, to work on API. I believe I gave us a task for us to do, and not everybody attempts the task in progress. So what next? So automation with Catalan, test on Catalan, not yet. Automation with Cypress, which we'll be picking up today. Then Okay, we've done selenium. Let me add selenium to this guy. Yeah, so we are yet to cover up on we are yet to cover up on automation with Catalan and automation with Cypress. Okay. Then also JMeter too as well. Then at the end of the month, we'll do appraisal too as well. Um, collate all the appraisal. Then the third month. So by the first week of third month, we'll be creating, we'll be helping you all how to set up your CV, opening LinkedIn account, and start applying for a job. So as a roadmap. Yeah. So today, let's dive into what we have to do today. So today we'll be performing Postman runner using Postman. We'll also run integrate our test on CLI and terminal. That is commander and terminal too as well. Then also we do API performance testing with JMeter and Postman. So I want to believe we've all created our API collection for from request.in. Have we all? Yes. Let me see your collection. Yeah, guys online, I hope you all have our collection folder created.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Let me see your question. Can you pray for yourself? See what it is. Just started. Just started. Are you feeling over the wall? So on your test, you have to supposed to check this to 404. We have run anything else. Since the very test always test. So if you run against all your answers, never test pass, never test failed, you're able to turn test where the I have to develop benefits. So the end goal is for your test. So once your test pass, so if anything breaks,
Sorry, David, I can't hear you very well. I can't hear you.
another for negative test. Do you understand?
For the negative, so there is no one person.
Yeah. You think about environment, we don't know how to create environment. You don't know how to create environment. You know how to create environment. I have to teach you how to create it. Also gives great environment.
That's fast.
So why is it showing you this URL? So
So, I think maybe like 200 minutes. So this particular single user
Yeah.
I changed my SQL
Yeah, for yeah.
then it's passed.
Yeah.
But since status code is 200, was 200 mean okay?
Whatever value you want to get there should be what is here. So you are saying you want to see 400. So if suddenly this guy returns 200, it will fail. So this 200 now is supposed to be 404. So you are telling Postman, okay, look out for 404. So anything aside from 404, that test will pass. I mean, will fail. So far, you won't for the TV. So guys, on house, please, let's start the. So guys, listen up, on house. So let's run. Like I said, the end goal for our test is all our tests should pass. So if by chance tomorrow something breaks, in the application, probably after deployment and everything, so users can log in, or users can perform some functions on the application. So as a QA, since you have the API collection folder, which is also serving as the backend for the application, and you've already added your test and request script to add to your test to your endpoint, so you can always run your test all over again to be sure if all your tests are going to pass or whichever test is failing. And once that is detected, you can always liaise with the developer who developed the application to fix the issue. And once the issue is being fixed, you can always perform your retest again. So let me run this collection folder on Postman Runner. So remember, I gave us the essence of creating environment for our API testing before we start testing our API. So, so once you set an environment, for your test, this is what your environment will look like. So it's just like you making your work, easier, for you to do. So if by chance tomorrow something change, maybe the application is meant de- to be deployed to from staging to UAT or development. So probably the URL might change or something might change on the application. So you can always come to your environment here and just update the initial value. And once you update the initial value, it will then update at the rest of the endpoints. So you don't have to go through the stress of picking each endpoint and start changing URL. And another thing is it also helps you, in setting environment variable too as well. Maybe by chance, maybe you need this first name in another test script. You know, you can always call the variable from the environment to add to your test. So we all, pardon.
I thought you said the environment first. Yes. Yes. That's the first thing.
You are meant to set environment for any API testing you want to perform.
That's the first thing.
So
So from there, you need to work with some works with you. Think of it like an environment.
so for the token part, if okay, let me send it request. So for the token part, there are some requests that require you to, to get a token access. I taught us how to set token to our environment. So don't say I didn't teach you. So let me run this guy in collection folder for us to see. So this is what Postman runner looks like. So if you want to skip any test, you can just uncheck any of this box and it will skip the test. But I'm assuming I'm running all the tests. This one has. So I'll just click on run the collection folder. So all my tests ran successfully and I have one failed. So whenever you have a failed test, you can always revert back to the endpoint and check why the test is failing. So for this endpoint, which is post create, says body string assertion error. Expected name is Christy Rosako. Then the job human assurance executive, ID number, but David was included in the test. So let me go to the endpoint, which is post create. So let me see the body. So this is because I've already set this guy to the environment. So that's why the test is failing. So let me return it back to the original documentation that is on the API. I taught us how to set environment variable now. How to use that random, how to use random variable. It's called random variable. So you can use it to, to fetch, any variable you're looking for. So let me return this back to the original value of the documentation. Post create. Okay, that test I ran, you can see I said this. We all understand how this snippet works, right? The snippet as a test script. So I said check body string match David. So if you look at this response body, it's quite different. So I can say, let me see if this script is going to work. Failed. So let me say ID. So these guys, this response body here always contain of string, array, and array, string, array, and what is it? Okay, I'll remember later. And boolean, yeah, boolean. Thank you. So you can decide to look for this string, let's say ID, and you can decide to look for this other string too as well, which is Mrs. Orlando. But because I've already set this guy, to pick up random name and random job description, so probably if I say you should look for this name, it will tell me, the test will failed. So I'll just pick this ID. So if by any chance I consume this endpoint, it should always give me a response in this kind of body format. So if by chance I send a request tomorrow and is I'm getting a error response message. Okay, let me just use this for an example. So the test is to fetch ID. Fetch ID. So that is the fetch ID. So that is my test. So let me run this guy. So you can see on my test results said fetch ID. ID was found in the response body. So let's assume tomorrow probably something happened to the URL. Maybe something happened to the URL tomorrow, and I tried to run all my tests again. So you can see, guys, how is this still passing? This ID in the I think there is an ID string among the response code. So let's just assume, okay, this is the right QRA, and something happens tomorrow, and you are getting this response, from the response body. This test should automatically feel like, okay, I couldn't find, ID in the response body, so your test will fail. So as a QA, you are meant to troubleshoot to look, okay, why is this test failing? If it's something you can fix yourself, you can, and if you need to liaise with the developer, you can call on the developer and sync together. So these are the reason why we add test script, to our endpoints. So this is fixed now. So if I have to run this API collection in the collection folder in the Postman runner, I will click on run again, and all my tests will eventually pass. I have another one for again to include David. Okay, I didn't save. This is because I didn't save this test. So once you update anything or you perform a request, don't always forget to click save. So let me run this guy again. So as seen on the screen, all my tests passed. So like I said, the primary goal of you is all your tests should pass, while running all your endpoints in Postman runner. So then, if by chance you need to create some negative test, for your collection, so you can duplicate this collection folder. You can duplicate the collection folder and rename negative test. So you can rename negative test. So here you can always add okay, if you want this okay endpoint to fail, maybe you are expecting 200 status code, and okay, on your test you said okay, fail if you get status code of 4 or 500. So you can always add negative test to your test and always run on Postman run on too as well. For example is another example is the part maybe you have a login future. You can always add login invalid login. you know then you can also add tests to another. You can also add different tests, saying okay, check if the username field accept alphabets. Check if the username field accept special character and etc. So our collection ran well, and all our tests passed. Patch update. So I didn't add any tests to this guy. So if by chance you didn't add any tests to your endpoint, you will always see at the list that this request does not have any tests. So let me add tests to this endpoint, which is passed, which is patch. So what's the body? Body is obvious. So we all understand what patch means. Patch is just to update an existing data. So let me say I want to update this guy, to Morpheus Zion. So Morpheus Zion, if I send this request now to automatically update it, and you can see updated. So let me assume I want to add a test to it. So let me see, Postman check if this guy status code is 200. And I can say, okay, Postman, check response body, fetch, fetch, fetch name, fetch name, say Zion. So let me just say, okay, I'm looking for this name called Zion. So let me send this request. So you can see my two tests passed. So I have 200 status code, and Postman was able to fetch this name for me, the response body called Zion. So I'll click on save, then go to my API. So you can have as many as possible tests, to your collection folder. Like now, I have 35 test script, added to this collection folder now. Sports time is less than 200. So you can see a test field here saying response time should be less than 200, but assertion error says is 219 below. Let me run it again. Oh, yeah. So all the tests pass. So now we can export our test results. So you can export your test results. And mind you, I told us while exporting our result, we should always create a folder on our desktop or maybe documents. Name the folder a Postman so we can be able to fetch this test report. To run on CLI or your terminal. So, and I also reminded us to always save our result test, in .json so that command line can recognize it. So we can all run on command line now. We all know how to run on command line. Yeah, so you can run your test on command line. Terminal. So you go to your terminal. Then go to your terminal, go to the project folder that was being created on your desktop. So go to this guy here and right click on it. Then run new terminal at folder. So once you run new terminal at folder, it will show you this guy here. Then you do uh, then you do new man run this guy. Then you drag in your exported results into this guy here. Then you click enter. Then you click enter. It's a test run. npm install -g newman. Let me
But then they have tried IPG, sorry. You said we should remove the
-g, not g.
You said we should remove the G at some point.
So export that to results and then open terminal from the folder and run the test like I did. Postman, export your Postman runner. So for us to run to we've already run on command line and we've seen the results. Guys online, I hope you all were able to run on your command line.
Yes, we do.
So now we need to perform performance testing with API using JMeter. So
David, I'm having that same issue you're having. No, this thing found online.
are you able to run on command line? Let me see your result. Hmm? You did it before.
Just start us with that.
Okay, to do performance testing with I think we need to start JMeter first. So when we start JMeter, we can now do that. Because if I should do it for us now, it will look like magic. Is anybody familiar with JMeter? Is anybody able to execute the test? Guys online, are you able to execute your test on CLI?
No.
Pardon?
Sorry, please, how do you know if you now have Newman? Because I think I downloaded it, but it doesn't look like it is on my system. When I tried to run this thing, it was showing me that Newman is not recognized as an internal or external command, whatever. Hello, David, did you get me?
Yes, I did. So can you view my screen? Can you view my screen?
Yes.
So follow these steps and reinstall Newman on your PC. So do npm install -g Newman.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't what I said. Hello, Mr.
So
David.
you've executed the test.
Hello, Mr. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I said that I'm having issue with my running this command on my terminal.
You're having issue with what?
It's running the postman on my command on my terminal.
Rolling Postman.
Yes, running the test on my terminal.
So what is it giving you?
It's giving me command not found.
What?
It gives me command not found. Same thing that shows on your system.
Okay, hold on. So run npm hyphen version on your terminal.
Okay.
Can you please tell me the name of the heading in which I get these commands? Because it is not visible over here.
What did you say?
I'm saying tell me the name of the heading because I don't get these commands which are written over here.
Okay, I'm dropping it for you.
Okay, I just did that and you bring out
Just scroll up the
8.1.
screen. I will get it.
Mr. David, can you hear me?
Yeah, what did you say?
I said I just did that and it came out 8.10. It says that there is
6 points.
8.10.
Okay. Then you should be able to run your test. So for those of us using Windows, are we able to execute our test? Oh, can you join the meeting? Join the meeting online. Let me use your system to present.
Please, what is the command line again?
For
To run it on the terminal.
what?
To run it on the terminal, what is command line again?
Just Newman run. Then drag in the expected results from the Postman folder.
It shows command not found.
If you're having that issue, send me just well. Hmm? You can come.
Now, what do you say?
I think I'm also having the same issue. So let's download JMeter. So go on your browser and do JMeter. Then come here to Apache JMeter. Then come here to download release. And you can download this guy, this zip. So click on this zip guy. So once you download that, so open and then so have you all download JMeter? Hmm?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Okay, so once that is download, then install on your system. So once you install on your system, you go to the folder where you downloaded your JMeter. Then you open terminal from the folder.
We want zip it first, right?
Pardon?
The one we downloaded is zip. Oh, we want zip.
Yes, you unzip. Finally, second one.
And then please say you open terminal and do what?
What do you say?
You say we should open terminal and do what? You downloaded the JBit already.
Open terminal from the downloaded folder. That is from the Jmeter.
Mr. David, I'm here to run the Postman.
So, have you expected your results? Please hold on.
So, yeah.
space. It's that part. Script. I use the first one. I don't use it on first item. Because usually check the code matches and strength. So you don't make it so once you download your JMeter, so go to the JMeter folder and click on this JMeter icon. That is the application icon and launch. So for us using Mac, you can go to the folder where you downloaded on JMeter. So okay, this is my. Then you go to the bin folder. So when you go to the downloaded folder, go to the bin folder. Once you get to the bin folder, you can right click on this guy and open with terminal. But those was all using Windows. You can just double click on it and Geometer will start running. Okay, so
into the folder. You see Jupyter, this Jupyter. Okay, go to the second. It's supposed to be this is okay.
So have you all been able to install Jmeter?
Yes.
No.
So what's holding you?
You said we should open the bin and then click on JMeter to run. I clicked on it, it didn't run.
Right click on it and run on command line. Come to the folder here, which is Apache Jmeter. Come to the bin folder here. You will see, it's
Okay.
either you see Jmeter or jmeter.sh. So double click on it and it will launch Jmeter for you.
Okay, there's JMeter, there's jmeter.sh.
So you can click on jmeter.sh.
Now I'm gonna save so I'm not seeing it launch. And so I'm gonna get it. It's not.
Okay, okay.
Hmm? I don't need it, ignore it. Just add your script and look for the string you're looking for. So have you run your test on here now? Yeah. Yeah. Stop. Stop. I space. I finish it. G. Newman. I finish space Newman. G G G for good. Yeah, space Newman. Mm. Okay. So go to your desktop and create a folder called Postman. Yeah. So go to your desktop and create a folder and name it desktop. Postman. Name the folder Postman. How's that?
And this are not saying the game that if that installed.
You've exported the test result. Then open the folder. Open the Postman folder. So guys, we might not need to do that JMeter today. So when we do JMeter, then we do performance testing with API. Very good. So right now, I believe we can all run Postman Runner and CLI. So why are you saving that result? Open the Postman folder. Name rename this guy the name of the project you're working on with .json. Don't add space to it. Just the name of the project, then .json. .json. The name of the is it not request you're working on? In request, then dot this dot, not dot. JSON. Let's engage in more. The second double click on this copy of the part. Copy out the parts. So Rimsha, we do the performance testing when we start performance testing with JMeter. So we'll test for the API. We'll come back to this later.
So you are doing a performance testing using JMeter, right?
Yes. So after we are done with Cypress, copied it. Go to your then write CD space Control V. And see it's already running from the folder, the collection folder. So for you to run your test now, you now do Newman run, and drag this the expected results into your terminal. Then enter. Enlarge your screen. Set Newman. Run. Newman run. Then drag the collection folder. Click enter. That's it. So, Cypress, are we still together? Are we are still running our test?
I'm not stable now.
Hmm?
There are two seconds.
Is anybody still having issue online?
David,
Yes.
I'm facing the issue by connectivity of Postman with JMeter. Can you show?
Sorry. Can you mute that person? Saud, I can hear you.
Yes.
Emmanuel, can you mute your mic? Continue, please.
How to connect the Postman with JMeter?
Yes, I said we'll be looking at when we start JMeter. So that's performance testing.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we start doing performance testing with JMeter, we will come back to the testing API. Performance testing, doing performance testing on API with JMeter. So as said earlier this class, we will round up on API testing. And we all know what API is and how to perform tests on API. Then also how to run API test on Postman, Postman runner, and collect command line or terminal.
Okay.
So is anybody still having issue with,
Hello, David. My Gmeter is not running. The file you have told is not running on my PC.
are you using a Mac or a Windows?
Windows, Windows.
Windows.
Yes.
Okay. Can you share your screen so let's see if this can be quickly fixed?
Okay. I will share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
The file you have told is this one, right?
No, we are not
Gmeter.sh.
doing JMeter now. Postman.
Sorry, I
We are
didn't
doing
understand.
Postman, not JMeter.
Okay, you are running Gmeter with Postman, right?
We are suspending the JMeter for now. So to do performance testing, but we will look at that when we start JMeter training.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
There is for text to be running application like this one.
The internet. So, hello. So Cypress. Cypress is an open source automation tools for web environments, and this tools is closely aligned with current development with practice compared to Selenium. So in absence of Selenium, we can also use Cypress, for web automation. So, oh, can you view my screen? So you can't view screen like this.
It's telling you
This guy. Can you view my screen? Hello, guys.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes.
Okay. So we are picking up Cypress today. So we are done with API testing and Postman today. So, like I said, Cypress is an open source test automation tools for web application, and it is almost the same function, with Selenium. Just that Cypress is very simple, to understand. And while using Cypress, you don't require to download, download Chrome driver. You don't need to download driver. You don't need to download jar files. So you don't need to do much configuration, compared to Selenium. So Cypress is just let me say play and pause. It's just very simple. It's very flexible. Free guy. Sure you get. And the most interesting features about Cypress is that test status and many features allow seeing how many tests passed and how many tests failed. Compared to Selenium, whereby your test will just run, and all we just need to do is just maybe um, check the console log, or you use TestNG framework that I taught us, to view your failed test and your past test. And Cypress is automatically wait, for command and assertion, wait for command and assertion before moving on to the next test you want to execute. And it is one of the best, is one of the best alternative web development tool, compared to Selenium, which allow checking responsive site and with their viewpoint and sizing. And it also take a snapshot of test run. While your test is running, you can tell Cypress to maybe a field test. You need to capture, where the test failed. Viewing your UI. So you can take a snapshot of your test while running, and for headless execution, it also take a video recording too for your entire test. Maybe um, you have a test, maybe you have maybe 1,000 of tests you want to run on Cypress, and probably you just want to take a nap, and the test might take maybe like 2 hours or an hour. So you can just tell Cypress, so yeah, start running this test and record all the test execution. So while you not even being on your laptop, you can always come back and just do play. And Cypress is going to play all the how your test run. So it's also going to show you the snapshot of the failed test. So you can easily just update your test script and run all your tests again. And another thing is that Cypress automatically reload every changes made, in your tests, which you will always see when we are working with the tool. Maybe you updated your test script, it will automatically reload and start running your test, compared to Selenium. Then it is Python Selenium alternative, which has command log and app preview, to show precise your automation action and web application during your test execution. So so in the agenda of this training on how to use Cypress tool for web automation, we're all going to have the complete knowledge of how to perform web testing and UI automation with project delivery with Cypress. Then we're also going to learn we're also going to learn introduction to Cypress as web automation tools for testing. Then also why Cypress should be used, and also how to download Cypress and explore the dashboard. Then we'll start writing our first test script on Cypress. So what is Cypress? Mentioned earlier what Cypress is. Then to add to it, I said it's a free open source automation tool which bases on Cypress, which is Mocha and Chai. So these are one of the famous assertion libraries in JavaScript, and there are certain steps that are involved in BDD process while using Cypress, which is number one, it describes the behavior of your application. Number two, it writes the step definition of your application. Then number three, it helps you to check for past test and failed test. Then also writing codes to make step fast and run and pass. Then Cypress is the next generation front end testing tool. So Cypress is front end testing tool. Why API Postman is a backend testing tool. Always take note of that. So it's the next generation front end testing tools, which is built, for modern web application, where address where we addressed the key points on developer and QA engineering phase while testing modern application. Cypress is most often compared to Selenium. However, Cypress is both fundamental and architectural different, and Cypress is not constrained, by same restriction as Selenium, and it also enable you to write faster and easier and more reliable tests, and it is also very easy to learn. So why Cypress? Why Cypress? Users typically, almost all QA, prefer to use Cypress to execute their tests or compared to Selenium. Reason why being is because the interface is very friendly, and instead of you installing certain drivers, instead of you installing Java, JavaScript, and etc. Still you can still just pick up Cypress application and just do Cypress.get, and it is JavaScript friendly, and it's run on JavaScript framework. Then you can see it enables your end-to-end test, and it enables your integration test and unit test. What is unit test? God bless you. So Cypress can test anything that runs on browser. So far, it is on browser. It can run on any browser, and you can run Cypress on Chrome browser, Mozilla, Firefox, Safari, Opera Mini, and any type of browser you want to run your test on. Then it's also an ecosystem which consists of free and is an open source tool which is locally installed. test runner and dashboard services for recording your tests. And firstly, Cypress helps you set up and start writing your tests every day while you build your application locally using TDD approach at its best. Then later, after to wonder why your test failed. So let's go on our browser and install Cypress. No, first thing we need to do, we need to install Visual Studio. So go on your browser and install Visual Studio, Google Visual Studio. So install Visual Studio. The Cucumber look like that green.
Visual Studio.
Yeah, Visual Studio.
It's from Microsoft. That's good code. So,
So how many of us have Visual Studio already on our screen? You have Visual Studio. Let all you guys to download it. Yeah. You guys are ahead of your game. So for those of us that don't have a Visual Studio, the guys online, so go on your browser, Google Visual Studio, and download Visual Studio on your PC. So basically, what this guy does, it serves as an IDE. It serves as an IDE to enhance your tests, while working with Cypress. So inside the Visual Studio, you get to write your JavaScript and you execute. You use Visual Studio to execute your test to run on Cypress. So when we start doing practical, you will have a better understanding on how this works. So you can just click on download Visual Studio. So like I said, it's an IDE. So for those of us using Mac, you can click on Mac and download from Mac.
Visual Studio code.
No, we are downloading Visual Studio Code.
Code.
Yes. So you are downloading Visual Studio Code. So this is where you write your scripts. So what's the meaning of IDE?
I know.
Eh?
Like Eclipse. Like Eclipse.
Leave this class.
Internet.
What's the meaning of IDE?
But I don't know.
Ah.
I know it's like
Hey.
okay. What Eclipse is for
Integrated development environment.
I don't know. I know it's one shapes to say that.
So, and the most interesting thing about Cypress is that you can use it as a test integration, like you implementing BDD and Cucumber framework. So we'll get to that. Don't let me overload your brain with it.
That's quite loud.
So have you all been able to download Visual Studio Code? Hello guys. Guys online. Are they sleeping? Hello guys.
We are not sleeping, sir. We are with you.
I want to assume we've all taken a nap now. So have you all been able to download Visual Studio Code? Okay.
I have my Visual Studio Community version 2017.
So I will assume we've all been able to download Visual Studio Code. Then I've seen on the screen. So while using Cypress, there are certain things you have to look out for. We have the Cypress, it's called the Cypress page object models. So in Cypress page object model, we will be using the fixture, the integration, and the support folder. Under the fixtures, there is a user.json file which we will use to store data like username, password, and etc. Then the integration folder, which you would create two subfolder, and one of it is called will be test script, and the other will be page object. In the support folder, there will be two folders, which is .js, and it's already in one of the command.js and index.js. There is also a Cypress.json file where you can store the configuration data of the site you're working on, like the base URL, viewport, page load, and etc. So speaking about the fixtures, where you have the user.json file. So this file is used to store data to be used in your test, example, which is um password, maybe the valid password, valid username, invalid username, and also in the integration folder where you have the page objects. So this folder is used to store all your CSS locator, on the site, to be used for testing. It's more or less like Selenium, where you have to look for experts, name, ID, and etc. But in case of Cypress, CSS locator is mostly used, looking for the element locator. So then the support folder, which is the command.js, this is used to store your test scripts in case where you did need to repeat a particular test at multiple times. You can make it easier. I remember when we were kids then, voltage. I can assure you, assure you, I can assure you, you will understand Cypress. So speaking of the support, which is the command.js, so it is used to store test script in case you need to repeat a particular test at multiple times. So it makes it easier, it makes it easier for you storing your test script in the command.js and for calling it by name in your test scripts. And the Cypress.json folder, which is used to store configuration of your website you are working on. You're working on the base URL, viewport, and etc. So this is what dashboard interface looks like as seen on the screen. So once you start running Cypress on your PC, this is what it looks like. You can see. So you have the integration test, which is we call it follow conf folder, but you can delete it if you don't need it. So as seen on the screen is a dashboard for Cypress. Then how to download and install Cypress. So I already gave us the link to download Cypress, and mind you, before you start installing Cypress at all, you have to download Node and npm, which I believe we already have on our system running already. So we have to set the Node home environment variable, then create Cypress working folder. Then the next one is to generate package.json folder, then install Cypress, and download VS Code, which we already did. So we will get our hands on deck in the next class on how to download and install Cypress and how to do our configuration on Cypress. So we will stop here for today, and we'll pick it up from there tomorrow.
Alright, David, share the slide, please.
Where is what?
I said you should share the slide so that we can read through.
All right. To be dropped. Please always practice what you've learned. If you don't practice, you will forget. And always refer back to your training slide. So, thank you all for joining, and see you same time tomorrow.
Can you please share these slides?
Yes, it will be shared. All right. Bye, guys.
Please, David,
Bye.
please, your solution to that running the command line on terminal on Mac, because I can't even mine not really work this time.
I'll troubleshoot it.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.